What's up, my guys? What's up, my girls? AKA my dear and beloved Danny Flois. It's good to be with you one time for the 15 times. I'm your boy Danny Flo, your favorite podcast teacher. I teach you tings, a pronunciation I stole from my lovely wife. Shout out to you, baby. Who's a TikTok mom, by the way. She's pretty funny too. Give her a follow at Mariana, Marian underscore A triple H's. Triple H's, three H's, you get the point. But anyways, so I basically teach you by giving you, my guys and my girls, my philosophy of philosophy, strength training, marriage, fatherhood, and religion, which is that we should all be Catholic. And yes, I'm aware that I'm weird, but you like it. So in this episode, I'm gonna keep talking about that quarantine life, and how your boy is failing it. I live in Illinois, and we're under a stay-at-home order. It's a semi-quarantine of sorts. It's not a complete lockdown. You can still go outside, especially if you work at an essential business, right? Like grocery store, restaurant, gas station. If you're a truck driver, obviously you need to deliver the goods that we buy at the grocery stores. So, as some of you know, I have 2 gigs, right? A main gig and a side gig. Both are running, right? Thanks be to God. But I'm at the house a lot more because the gym is closed. I'd spend a lot of time there. My university campus is also closed, so I'd be there at least once a week. And my parish, aka my church, the church that I attend, is not celebrating Mass publicly, so I'm not going there with my family either. So I'm spending a lot more time at work, and I have some thoughts to share with you, my guys and my girls. Okay, cool. So on the gram, I've seen some posts that are trying to be helpful and are encouraging people to use this time wisely, right? This time under semi-quarantine. Like maybe read a book, right? Have some substantive conversations with your family members that maybe you usually don't have, right? Those are examples. And the examples and things that we could do right now under semi-quarantine are endless, right? Even though most of us are like bummed out because the things we normally do, we can't do right now. Okay, cool. That's one side. Then also on the gram bam, because Insta is the only social media I got, I also have Snappity Chat, right? But I'm not really active on these, on that one, right? Because I've got Insta and I've got Snapchat. I'm not really active on Snapchat right now. So also on the gram, I've seen people expressing their anxiety with all these suggestions on what to do with this time, and some people feel bad, right, that they don't have the desire to do anything that's being suggested or anything that they themselves can come up with. Okay, cool. That's another sign. Then the other thing on the gram I've seen is some posts addressing the people with anxiety to not feel bad about not wanting to do anything with this time except survive. So they're trying to be helpful as well. Why am I talking about this? Because none of these posts are what inspired me to talk about how I'm failing the quarantine. Quarantine or no quarantine, your boy is hard on himself within reason. And of course, that's according to my own judgment, right? Someone else might think that I'm unreasonably hard on myself, but I think I'm the right amount of hard on myself, because there's a lot of times where I'm way too easy on myself. And the former, right, the part about being hard on myself, is because your boy is hella Catholic, and I believe that God has called me to be a saint, and every moment I'm either accepting or rejecting his grace, right? And the latter, the part about me being easy on myself, that's because I'm a sinner in need of God's grace, right? So I'll share one thing I think I'm failing at in each category. Right, so first things first, philosophy. My university campus is closed. Our professor has graciously emailed plenty of material for us to study and review for the next couple of weeks, and that was on Tuesday, March 24th, 2020, and I've only watched and taken notes on one of his video lectures on one day, which was Friday, before I had to go to the side gig. And I've had plenty of opportunities to keep watching that video lecture or to study and review the other material he sent us, but I'm failing the quarantine. Okay, cool. So the gym my lovely wife and I go to closed during this pandemic, and that was as of Sunday, March 15, 2020. So I started out with good intentions, as I always do. My wife and I invested in some resistance bands. We bought a pull-up bar that you can actually do push-ups on as well, and you can do like a modified tricep dip on it as well. So we already had like a pair of 2.5 pound plates, and you can use those to do like shoulder prehab, right? Like do this movement right here to keep your shoulders nice and lubricated, nice and healthy, right? And we also had an exercise ball that we got when my wife was pregnant that would help her. It would help her with her lower back, and we had it, but it just wasn't inflated, so we just re-inflated it, because it's an exercise ball and you can do things on that as well. And we bought a 25 pound dumbbell. So since the gym closed, I've only done 2 at-home workouts, but just like somehow I'm going to review the material I need to review from philosophy class because I need to pass. I'm somehow going to try and stay in shape without the gym, because I know this is gonna sound odd, but so I'm concerned about losing size in my glutes. I think stereotypically we correlate that concern with girls, a stereotype that's sexist and incredibly accurate. Just kidding. Or am I? I'm a philosopher, nobody knows. So anyways, I think everyone has an ideal body for men, whether we often think about it or not. And then everyone has an ideal body for themselves. I think maybe I forgot to mention also that everyone also kind of has an ideal body for like women, whether we often think about it or not. So, but in both my cases, as in an ideal body for men and an ideal body for myself, I think that in both cases, I think size in the glutes is better to have. Of course, there's the risk of like vanity with any kind of thing related to your body. There's a risk of vanity, but I hope that mine aren't or don't come across as vain. So I just like how I look with size in my glutes. I like how my jeans and my slacks fit. I like how they feel when I have size in my glutes as well. Also, generally speaking, larger glutes mean stronger glutes, right? So it's a size and strength thing as well as an aesthetic thing. Before the pandemic closed my gym, and many gyms, not just in Illinois but across the United States, right before my gym closed, I actually hit a personal record. Before I had been able to squat 315 pounds to depth, right? That's when your legs are parallel and then back up. One time I hit it for a triple, or 3 times right before the gym closed, and that's because my glutes are relatively strong, compared to someone maybe who doesn't squat, and then definitely compared to how strong my glutes used to be, right? So I'm concerned about losing that strength, right? I'm concerned about making regress instead of progress. So I can't squat heavy, I can't hip thrust heavy, I can't do any other heavy lifts, but we'll see, right? I hope that discussion wasn't uncomfortable for anybody. Also though, my wife likes how I look with larger glutes, so that should probably be my number one reason. But even when you love someone, and I love my wife, it's hard to put them first, which is why I insist on needing God's grace. So okay, cool. Quarantine or no quarantine, I fail at being present to my wife and son. That's still true now that I'm home more. I think if you can sit and do nothing with someone for long periods of time, I think that's a sign that your love for that person is being purified. I think a lot of times you get a taste of that when you first start dating someone, and and it's new. You don't really care what you do as long as you're with that person, and then because we're broken human beings, we kind of something happens, right? And something happens, and then we have to be doing something. We have to be eating with the person. We have to be talking about something interesting. We have to be watching a movie. We have to be doing a workout together. We have to be taking a picture together. We have to be doing some activity with each other. Otherwise, we kind of don't. We're kind of not present with that person. So, I think a lot of us can't just do nothing with the people that we love because there's just so many distractions. It's not something that we want to do, or it doesn't bring us instant gratification, right? We want to move on to something else, or we want to do something else and pretend we're also listening to them, but that's just not being present. So that's something I think I'll work on for the rest of my life. Right now, I've been on my phone too much. I've been randomly practicing on my drum pad instead of working out, by the way. I've been trying to watch too many movies on Amazon Prime instead of just sitting and doing nothing with my wife and son. Because if I love them, like I said, who cares if we're doing nothing, right? I'm with them. That's enough. Okay, cool. So one thing I have been better about is praying with my wife and son. So thanks be to God for that. But I think my personal prayer life has taken a hit. So in 2019, I prayed the rosary more than I ever have in my life, and I want to keep doing that, but I haven't been doing that lately. I can't tell you how many times that I've prayed it recently. If you don't know what that is, if you don't know what the rosary is, it's a Catholic meditative prayer. It's basically the gospel on beads for us. So the gospel, the good news is that Jesus Christ resurrected, right? There's 4 books talking about the resurrection. We meditate on what happened in the gospel using the rosary beads, right? It's difficult, but the best way to get better at it is to do it, and I haven't, but I will. I also had the New Year's resolution to pray to Saint Joseph every day, like a specific prayer to Saint Joseph for the universal protection of the church. I was recording myself and posting it on my IG story. I have since failed at doing that. I think I went like 48 days in a row, and then all that happened was that I forgot to do it on the 49th day. And so I modified my New Year's resolution, right? Instead of just throwing it out altogether, how most people do, like they either want perfection or like nothing, and then as soon as they fail, they just give up. So I modified mine, and I was like, I'm just gonna pray it as many times as possible in 2020. So when I forgot, I was like, we're in a leap year, so there's 366 days. I said I can't pray for 366 days now because I forgot. I'm gonna try and do 365. But I have since failed multiple times, and lately I haven't been doing it, right? And at first it was like easy to track how many days I didn't do it, but I'm starting to lose track of how many times I've gone without doing it, and I need to know that because I want it to become part of my daily prayer routine even after 2020, but also I want to know how well I did at the end of the year, right? With my modified New Year's resolution, did I do 360 out of 366, 350, like what's my percentage, right? So I'm gonna get back on track with that as well. So let me know what you guys think, right? Am I failing the quarantine? Yes or no? And why are you failing the quarantine? What have you been doing with this time versus what you actually want to do? And are you eventually going to do those things, as the quarantine continues, or have you given up and are you just trying to survive? Please share your thoughts with your boy. We're a fan of thinking here on the Dani Flow Podcast. We like thinking here on the Dani Flow Podcast, so please share your thoughts with me. How? That's a great question. Send me a DM on the gram at Dani_flow, DANI_flow, FLO. Comment below if you're watching on the YouTubes. Send me a snap if you've added me on Snappity Chat. Send me a voice message on Anchor. The link to that is below. However you, my guys and my girls, want. Cool. Thanks for watching. Please like and share the link to the video so you can help me grow my channel. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe and let me know in the comments below how you found me and why you subscribed. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, thanks for listening. Please share the link to the episode so you can help me grow this podcast, and leave a review if you're feeling generous with your time. The link to support the Dani Flow podcast financially is below. Please consider a monthly donation if I've added value to your life. If not, that's cool. Please keep listening and share my podcast with your bestie, your nextie bestie, and on your Instagram stories if you feel like doing something cool, right? Thanks for putting up with me, my guys and my girls. I'm aware that I'm weird, but you like it. So, as always, my dear and beloved Dani Flowers, remember what venerable servant of God, Archbishop Fulton J. Sheen taught us: your life is worth living. Love you, my guys and my girls. Bye.